Power Metal Resources is an AIM-listed multi-project commodity group seeking precious, base and strategic metals at 13 different projects across 3 continents. I'm joined once again today by Chief Executive Paul Johnson. Hello again, Paul. How are you doing?
Hello, Alan. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thanks. Pretty good. We've spoken a few times since the summer and discussed the challenging market for junior resource stocks. There is a sense now that this sector malaise is starting to bottom out. What's your take on it?
I think it was Rick Rule from Sprott that said that the cure for low prices is low prices. And eventually you drain out all your sellers in these innovative stocks, whether it be, natural resources or biotech or whatever. And we've seen that over the last 10 months in the junior resource companies. Many of them have fallen by over 50%. They've seen sellers all the way down, but the selling appears to have slowed in many of those companies. The prices have stabilized, ticked up a little bit in many cases. And I think we've got those green shoots in place.
I agree. Now, you've announced a placing raising just over £1 million this morning to accelerate strategic expansion. And of course, that's with marginal dilution for existing shareholders. It was done at the current price. Three questions for you. Firstly, was it a difficult decision to take? Secondly, was it difficult for you to undertake? And thirdly, why?
Well, in our world, the CEO's job is schizophrenic from time to time. So was it a difficult decision to take? On one hand, absolutely not, because I know what's going on, the pathway, where we're going, what we can deploy that money into. So on that basis, absolutely not. But from an investment perspective, I don't like dilution. I don't like, financings generally in our space because they're often done so poorly. And I know shareholders generally out there feel a nervousness with regard to financings. But I made a commitment that we would not do, heavily discounted placings, which are so common in our marketplace, that if you buy a share on the market one day, the next day you wouldn't find a 40% discounted raise. Yes, it was difficult to take because I do want to protect shareholder interest. And I don't want people to feel nervous about our business. But we've got good uses for that money. Now, was it hard to undertake? Well, it was done in one day, and it raised £1,050,000 in that one day. It was done at the market mid price at the close on Friday. And it was done with warrants at a 100% premium to the placing price. And surprisingly, it wasn't difficult to undertake, no, which is fabulous because it says to everyone out there, that's people within our business who need to see that we're able to raise money, anyone engaging with our business outside, any third parties, and to our shareholders in the market in general, that we can, go and raise material amounts of money with low dilution against the current market cap, and we can build our business. It also shows, I think, Alan, that we are prepared to take the more difficult decisions when we need to get our job done. It was a very, very smooth process. The brokers did a great job, and we brought in, obviously, high net worth investors into the story, which is great to see.
Good. So on to the projects. You've announced some great developments and new projects recently. I covered some of these on a recent podcast with Vox Markets. We saw Katoro Gold raise some funding to start drilling at the Haneti Nickel project. Can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, I've been following Haneti for years. I've said this before. It's a potentially very high impact nickel sulfide PGE project. It has a lot of other things as well, but that's the focus. We need to do a deep diamond drill campaign, which of course is now going to happen. Praise be. And we're looking forward to getting on with that job as soon as possible. We're in touch with the company. We're liaising with regard to arrangements, and hopefully in the not too distant future, that's a phrase that's much used in our space, isn't it? But I genuinely mean it, that we will be able to announce we're rolling with that program. And then not too long after, we'll get the results. Now, if we get good fortune in this environment with this size and scale of opportunity, we could be in for, you know, a major outcome, which is what we're all about. Power always did have the money to pay its part for its 35% stake, and of course, with the raise today, then people have even more confidence that we have the money and we can crack on with this. It's not actually just about the drilling of, you know, the drill programs you have planned. It's about being able to stand your ground if you find what you're looking for, because the moment you hit something big, do you think that drill rig will stop turning if we hit something? You know, subject to drill availability, of course, you know, we may choose to carry on. And if the organization is in funds and is able to push ahead and do more, then that's absolutely fantastic. So it's coming up. It's been long awaited, and it could be a major transformer for our business.
Excellent. So going to another continent now, Canada, you've been very busy there. Expansion at the Athabasca uranium project near Saskatchewan, and of course,
Yeah.
Bonanza Silver Grades announced last week at the Silver Peak project. Now, of course, you know this is really moving ahead, and the Silver Peak project is one of the potential IPOs. Can you tell us where we are in Canada?
Yeah, sure. Well, at the Athabasca Basin properties, we've been expanding the grounds. We took a decision recently to do a big expansion in one go, because the level of interest around the project in that part of the world is incredible, really. There's lots of parties buying interests, lots of parties transacting, trying to do joint ventures, that kind of thing. The ticket values on the deals have been significant and increasing. And we just thought, you know, let's get on with this and secure that ground ASAP. We're doing other work around the globe in Africa and Australia as well, looking at uranium projects, because we do see a major future for this uranium space within our commodity sector, and we're really pushing to build that exposure as quickly as we can. But the Athabasca stuff is great. Now, it's cheap as well, because when you go and stake ground, I think we've spent circa, forgive me if I get this slightly wrong, but £15,000 on staking to secure that large patch of footprint over 7 project areas. The value of that is dramatically more than the staking cost. And it's a ridiculous comparison because of where we've staked. We've covered areas with previous uranium exploration where we have uranium shows, and we've got lots of evidence that there is uranium in situ, which is absolutely vital. We, of course, wanted to go the extra step quickly before the weather changed too much, and we did the initial exploration in the area. We paid for that, got that running quickly, and we've got results waiting. We're awaiting results from the labs. We've expedited the lab testing to get the results back quickly. We've got some great field results, and so we're looking forward to seeing what actually comes back from the labs. Silver Peak, Friday we announced up to 17,000 grams a ton silver, circa 550 ounces from the drill program that was undertaken and completed in August, I think. It took a few months to get the results back because the labs have been backed up, but we got the best ever, I believe, silver grade from the Silver Peak project. It's clearly valuable. It's a 30% ownership that Power has, and I know some people are a bit dismissive of that, but back in 2016, when we made the major copper discovery, when I was CEO at Metal Tiger, we had 30% stake in the copper licenses, copper focus licenses that within which the T3 discovery was made. So, and you can see what that discovery did for Metal Tiger. So we shouldn't actually be too dismissive of 30% stakes. They can be inordinately valuable if you have the results. And silver projects are very much in demand, And this is a particularly attractive project, demonstrated with the results of that drill program.
Of course, and one of the key, or a number of key factors underpinning the Power Metal value proposition are the upcoming IPOs. Of course, we have the gold metal IPO, the FDR IPO in Australia, and also the new Ballarat joint venture and others. Can you bring us up to date on where we are with those?
Yeah, sure. So there are a number in process and a number where we're contemplating IPOs. There's the vend out that we did of our Hemlo Schreiber interest in Ontario, Canada, to First Class. They're targeting a listing in London this year. And we have circa 36% of that stock after that vend out. So, we're hopeful that when that comes on the market, it will trade very well. And our current just over £1 million of value could be worth many millions. And then New Ballarat Gold, which is the 49.9% held power interests, focused on a very large footprint in the Victoria Goldfields area. That is going through its IPO process right now, and everything is lining up. We've all at Power, we have Golden Metal Resources, the project package focused on Nevada, and First Development Resources, the package projects focused on the Patterson region of Western Australia. GMR is slightly ahead in that sense. We are really surging through, the setup for that process. First development will be shortly thereafter. We're targeting. If you look at timescales, it's always difficult to predict, and you shouldn't be hostage to fortune on this, because you should do it right. Because by doing it right, you get the maximum value. But we're certainly looking at Q1 for our spin-out vehicles across those four that I've mentioned. And I would say probably you'd be looking towards February 2022 would be the target for GMR. And late February, early March for FDR would be my guesstimate at the moment. And you never know, we might have a booming resource market by that stage, in which case it will make the process a lot easier, which is fantastic.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I was going to ask you, what else can shareholders expect as we go into 2022? And of course, you've already had a fantastic 2021, so much achieved. But we've got the IPOs coming up, as you've just said. What else is on the horizon?
Yeah, I can actually answer that about 80%, because the 20% I can't talk about, but they will come out via RNS. And you can see that we're working on things by the fact that the board were excluded from the placing announced today. But we have a vast array of exploration results across our work programs from 2021. And that will come out, much of it before the end of the year. There will be the launch of drill programs across multiple projects, many of which will start before the end of the year, and then either be completed this year, or will lead into 2022 and be completed very early next year. We are, as a business, at that crystallization point for the model, where we said, look, we've got two strands. One is really intensive exploration. Well, we've been doing that, and we can really step up our game now with the additional monies brought into the business. We are going corporate, so we're taking this huge business model, breaking pieces off, and creating listed vehicles focused on London, because we think there's demand, and we think we have a fantastic array of projects that could excite and engage investors. And that's literally happening now. The workflow on that is incredible. We have competent persons reports flying around. We have legal advisors, corporate advisors, all the different things that we have to engage with and liaise with, and to a certain extent pay for, are all happening right now. And I think we shouldn't dismiss the rest of 2021 actually too lightly, and focus on 2022, because a lot of what we've been doing and a lot of what we're planning and want to announce is going to happen in the next 6 weeks before the end of the year. It's going to be a busy run-through period. And I think that will be all the more accepted by the market with a slightly stronger backdrop, with the metals, the kind of commodity juniors actually doing a bit better. I think when people see that we now are really in an unassailable, strong financial position with 3 million circa working capital, which is cash and listed investments, they'll know that we really can do what we say we're going to do and what we indicate we might do. I'm looking forward to the next few weeks. I think it's going to be a busy one for me. I think Christmas time will be great, because it'll probably be the first time when we can sit back a little bit, relax, and look at what we've done in 2021. There's one thing actually that's worth pointing out, and that's the disconnect between the metal markets, which are storming ahead, strong metal prices, clear positive supply-demand dynamics, or more demand than available supply. Really, really looking good for the future. Yet the junior resource sector that's going to find the discoveries that will provide the metals of the future is under the cosh and has been through most of 2021. There's a massive disconnect. So they always resolve themselves, these disconnects. And there's only two ways this can resolve. One is that metal prices fall. How likely is that? I don't really think it is, to be honest. Or the juniors rise. And when the juniors rise, that's a powerful situation. And it's most powerful, I think, in the UK market. And maybe that's because we have a slightly structurally inefficient system of market makers and intermediaries that kind of slows things down initially. Because the other markets have match bargain systems that are more computerized than all the rest. So, but I think we are looking at what could be one of the best resource markets of all time for the juniors. I think we are sat there as a business at Power Metal and with our spin outs with some of the most attractive investment opportunities for the investors out there. And with all the other stuff that we're doing that will become clear to market quite soon, I believe, that I think we will even further enhance that investment proposition. So I'm waffling a bit, Alan, but I'm hugely excited by what we've got ahead of us now.
Paul, there's so much happening here. Bonanza grades, cash reserves bolstered. Of course, viewers wanting to find out more, go to the Power Metal Resources website. The URL is at the foot of the page here. 2022 certainly looks set to be a transformational year for Power Metals. Our thanks to Paul Johnson for joining us today.
Thank you, Alan.